Hey, this is Charlie with Processful Pros and Monday.com certified partner. Today we're going to be discussing lead management within the Monday CRM. Some of the topics we're going to touch on today are lead forms, importing leads, leads boards setup, and then just the general journey of leads. This is a great video for beginners and just understanding the basic setup for the leads forms and lead management in Monday.com CRM. So let's get started. All right, I've navigated over to the Monday CRM website. And for those of you that aren't maybe as familiar with Monday, Monday has these boards over here on the left side. And in each board, you have rows and columns, and each column has a functional type. So email, title is a text column type. You have status, so you can set up different statuses. That's another type of column. Just more generally speaking, when you're in the Monday CRM, you have what's called the CRM boards, and you can toggle them on and off. You have leads, contacts, deals, projects, accounts, and activities. And this is the Pro plan, so you're going to see the Pro plan functionality. All right, so the first thing we want to do in the leads board is we want to get leads in the board. So how do you go about doing that? Well, there's several ways you can do it. You can do it manually here by clicking new lead and then filling out all the columns here. And then you can do another method where you would have an integration somewhere. So if you click up here to integrate, you could do, say, something like Facebook ads, have automation when a lead form is submitted, create an item in the leads board. Or you could have something like make.com or Zapier, where you actually have the lead populated in some form or some other system, and then it populates over monday.com. That's kind of outside the scope of this video. But the other methods that we're going to do are importing, and then we're going to do lead submission form now. So if you go to the lead submission form, if it's not there, click the plus sign, and then go down to form. So I kind of already set this one up a little bit, but we'll kind of go over it from scratch. So if you click on edit and scroll down a little bit, you have all these different questions, but these questions are actually directly tied to all the boards, or sorry, all the columns in the board. So lead is going to be name, status is status, company is company, and so on. So if you go back to the lead submission form, you can see I have name here, and then I have a little red asterisk because I've made it required. And then I have company. I have no asterisk there because I do not have it required and I don't want to hide it. So if you wanted to keep this question where it's at, totally fine. You can duplicate the question here, and then you can't delete it because I actually already submitted something earlier. So you can't delete anything that's already been filled out with the submission. If you want to add another question in the middle of your form, just click one of the plus signs. You could add short text here, so more details. And then I'm going to make that one not required or hide it. I'm going to keep it where it's at. Actually, maybe I'll bump it up a little bit. And then you could always just drag and drop it. This one is hidden because we don't really need to have people seeing the status of stuff. So I hid that question here and filled out I've had the email required and phone not required. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is do a customization of what it looks like. So you can change the background here, drag around, find the right color that you want. And then if you want to do an image, you can do that as well. You can also change where and how your look and feel of it is. So if you want to have it off to the left, a little bit left and centered, right, and so on. And you can have your questions classically styled here. You could add a progress bar one by one, kind of just however you want to set it up for your look and feel. This is generally where I go with. You can change the color of the font. You can change the font style as well here. Change the colors around a little bit if you wanted to. And then you can change where the text is oriented. And we're going to keep it left justified for now. All right, so the next thing we can do is go into customize. You can then see that you can't really do too much here. You can see the submission view, not anymore. You can do the thank you screen. So you can change this to just thank you if you wanted. And then we're going to hide that little success image that we have here. And after that, that's pretty much most of the stuff here. As you can see, there's not much to click around here. And then if you click on settings, that's probably one of the most important parts. So you could have people so they can submit multiple forms. You can save it as a draft. You could have it as an anonymous form, but more importantly, a reCAPTCHA challenge here. So we don't get a lot of bots and filling out our forms, and then hiding branding for work forms in the work form. That's important as well. And then include the board's first column in the form. We did that. Sync questions and column titles. We did that. And then most importantly here is where these are going to go. So when someone fills out a form, what group in the lead form or the lead board is this going to go to? So you have your options from the groups in here. So I have new leads, lead form leads. So if I want them to go to the lead form lead group, I'm going to want to click the lead form leads. All right, so everything looks good here. If we go back to edit, look and feel is good. Now we can go back to preview or just view. So I'm just go back to view for now. And now we can then share it. So where is it going to be? Do we want to put it as a link? Do we want to put it on our social? You could have a QR code on your collateral. You could also share it, or sorry, embed it on your website as an iframe. So I actually have, like I said, in my website, I put it in this as a link so that it pops open another tab. But anyways, if we want to just try it out real quick, let's do copy link, put it in here, and then we're going to fill out, we'll go with Charlie, and then process flow pros, and then email. We'll just do it person@email.com, and I'm not a robot, and then submit. So now we just get this nice thank you. So let's go back to the leads board. We can look at the results. So I've done it a couple other times, as you can see. We can see what companies people are from, and kind of just gives you a nice little summary. And then some, just some pretty basic analytics by country, by browser. But most importantly, if we go back to the main table here, we can see that I'm here, Charles Ferreira, and all the data is put into all the columns as we wanted in the leads form. All right, so we've completed getting a lead into the leads board using the lead submission form. Now we're going to move on to doing a CSV import. Here I've already created one in our Google Sheets. It's actually an export of the current leads we have in here. I'm just going to re-import them. So what is that? How do you do that? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click this button, import leads, or you could go over here, click import, browse for the file, go over here to leads, open, and now you're going to have to match the lead columns from the Excel/CSV spreadsheet to the Monday columns. So you can either do that up here, or you can do it over here with matching columns side by side there. So if we do it up here, this was going to be the first column, which is going to be name. I know it's a little bit confusing because it says leads here. Trust me, you're going to want to have this one be name. And then the next one is going to be your status column. This one is supposed to be the more details column, but there's really nothing in there, so I'm just not going to import it. This is the button column. Nothing important here. Not going to import that. This is going to be the company column. That T means it's for text. And then title, same thing. This is a text column. Email, specifically the @ right there means it's an email column. Phone, it's got a little phone there. But since there are no phone numbers in there, I'm not going to import it. And then last interaction date, just because there's this little logo here, that means it's a date. So if you click continue, then you're going to get new options. So do we want to add these as new, even if they're duplicates? Do we want to skip them if there's duplicates? How do we know if it's a duplicate? Monday can look based off of one of the columns. So if you have an email column, that's probably the best way to go because those are more unique. If you had like two John Smiths, usually they don't have the same email. And then for overwriting any duplicates, same idea. But in this case, I'm just going to put add as new, start import. You can see down here it's working. And you can see that it imported all of our leads that were from here. So new lead, name, same down here. So all of our leads have now imported. So what's the final way to import leads? So now that we've learned to do the lead submission and to do the import, the next best way in the manual way by clicking this button, there's another way to go about that. And to go about adding the other way of manually adding leads, you're going to want to go up to the three dots up here, click on the three dots, go to settings, and then enable item creation form here. So the item creation form will now make it so that you are required every time you click the new leads button to fill out a form, so you have kind of more control over what data is going into the leads board. So you can't just fill it out with just the name and be done with it. So if you have like sales reps that maybe aren't filling out all the right things, or you just, it's pivotal, you have certain information in there, this is perfect for you. So as you can see here, the red asterisk means that it's required. So the name's required and nothing else is required right now. But if you click this little edit button here, you can make, it's going to look just like the forms that you saw with the lead submission form. You can make other things required as well. So for instance, if we wanted email required, go down here, click required. We can hide other things such as status. We don't really need to be seeing status when we're first filling out a lead. And same thing, maybe more details. Maybe it's required that we fill out just some little bit of information. So we'll just leave it like this for now. Click done. So now you can see more details is has a red asterisk. Plus, if you wanted to, if you hit the plus sign, you can add other columns as well. So you can do it directly from here. So let's just say we're a sales rep. We're coming in here. We just have a new lead. And then we don't really need to fill out the other information. Curious about product. And click. If we click here, you can save and add another one, continue filling out these forms, or if you just click save, it'll automatically add it right here. All right, so now we're going to do the general board setup for the leads board. Now we've imported all of our leads, just to make sure we're not missing anything. So the Monday.com package for the CRM, if you click the plus sign at the very end, comes with some core lead columns. You have status, owner, create a contact, company, title, email, phone, location, comments. I generally suggest adding all of those. They're all pretty helpful. Just to give you a little bit of rundown which each one is. So for owner, this is the person you can assign to a lead. They'll get notifications based on different changes with the lead, and they'll get a notification when they're assigned to the lead. Create a contact. We'll discuss this more in the lead journey section of this video, but basically when you click this button, it'll move it to the contacts board. Company, it's the company that the lead comes from. Title of the lead, email. So when you're importing leads, sometimes you have a bunch of lists of emails in the email column. So that can be unhelpful. Generally, you should probably make sure that these emails are, sorted pretty well before you import it. But in case you don't and they can't fit the syntax here, I sometimes just click the three buttons here, add column to the right, and go with a text column and call it email text, so that when you're importing it, you can just import it as text, and then you can then sort it out later. And then once you've sorted out later, Monday actually has this really great AI functionality. If you click the three dots here, it's called autofill with AI, and it'll actually extract. So if you want to bring those emails back into the email column, if it'll load here, you can choose the email text, and it'll look for the email addresses for you. And then you could add more info here if you just have a list of commas of emails, and they'll extract it into the column. But I'm not going to set that up now because we're not currently doing that. Same idea with phones. If you're not fitting this specific syntax, then maybe it'd be in your best interest to add a text column. Location column. So this is all based off of like GPS coordinates, and it doesn't have a zip code. So this is great for the mapping widget within Monday, but you don't have a zip code. So if you're going to do a mailer and you want to download all your leads and put it into MailChimp or something like that, or you want to actually have it sent out with a physical piece of mail, you're not going to have the zip code. So It's probably helpful to add a column to the right, make it a text column so you don't have commas with numbers, and then you just start putting in the zip codes here. Zip code. And then some people add an address one as well. So it's a little bit redundant, but some people like to do address. They'll have sometimes the city and the state, kind of up to you if you want to do it that way. Most importantly, you need to add a date column at the end here. So if you plus sign, more columns, you can search for date. You type in date, call it created date, because in Monday, you cannot build automations off of the activity log. So you don't know when something is created, what date it's created without the activity log, but instead you could do this. And then you can say, like, if you want to have an automation remind you 3 days after the creation date of a lead, then you can do that thanks to having a created date column. But how do you have the created date set to today? Well, you have to set up an automation here. So if we go up here to the automation center, add automation. So we're going to go to when item created, and then type in date here, set date, click on created date. So now when an item is created in the leads board, it'll then set the created date to today. So create automation. And now let's look at the other automations while we're here. Some of them can be helpful. Some of them can be a little annoying. So this one, when an email is opened, notify item subscribers with a message. That one could be a little annoying. You're going to get too many emails. And then when a new email arrives from email, notify item subscribers with message. Also could be a little annoying. This one's for activities in the activities board. It's a little different. I can explain that at a later time when I go over the activities board. When an item is created, that one we just made. And this one is for moving items with the contact moving button. And this one is last interaction. So sounds good. Keep everything the way it is there. So I think this is probably the best setup you can get for kind of like a base. And then we're going to go into now kind of what the lead journey is once you've qualified a lead. So you have this status column here, and you have, new lead, attempted to contact, contacted, qualified, unqualified status. Obviously, you can change this to fit your business and your needs. But just to give you an idea of what you can do with it, if you click on edit labels here, or you could always go to the 3 dots, settings, customize status column, and then it gives you all these different options. So if you click on the colors, the default one you cannot change, but if you go to the other ones, you can click on the color bucket, change it to whatever color you want. So we'll go with egg yolk here, and then you can click on the 3 dots, add a description for the label, and then you could also deactivate the label. All right, so we're gonna keep that as new lead contacted. We're gonna add a new label, say like nurturing, something along those lines, and then you can rearrange the order by dragging and dropping as well, and choose which color indicates that an item is completed. So qualified is going to be this one right here, and you can do multiple if you want to. So once you've qualified a lead, where does it go? So you have many options. You could always just come down here. You could create a new group. So if you click through the arrow here, you could do new group of items, and then you could say qualified leads. And then you could create an automation center, add automation. You could say status, when status changes. So we're going to go to the status, changes to qualified, then move item to group being qualified leads, create automation. So now if I go to one of these other leads and I click qualified leads, you'll see in the bottom right corner, working, just moved it to the qualified leads. So this is kind of the general board setup. And now we're going to move into the lead. So here's the lead journey. I wanted to do a little bit of a visualization of this instead of just showing you or talking about it in Monday. So leads can come in from anywhere, but we're going to use the lead form that we set up in Monday for this example. So it starts out in the lead form, and it's on your website. For example, somebody's filling your contact us out form, becomes a new lead, and when they fill it out, it will automatically populate into your leads board in Monday. Once it's populated in Monday, It's assigned to somebody from your sales team. They go through the motions of qualifying the lead. And once the lead is qualified, then where does it go? So you have option number one. You saw that button that's on the board for making it go to the contacts board. That's one option because leads are usually a person and you need to turn that person into somebody that's in your contact list. So that's option number one. Option number two, you can go and have it sent to the deals board. So you can move the lead over to the deals board because this is the next step, generally speaking, in the process of closing a deal. A lead turns into some type of opportunity, and then that opportunity or deal here is what we call them, is then has different stages, discovery all the way to closed one. So that's option two. Option three is a little bit more complicated. So I know realistically there's more than three options here, but I'm just trying to narrow it down for simplicity. This is one that I see a lot of people doing, and one that I've kind of implemented a lot is keeping your qualified lead in the leads board, in the qualified leads group, and then making an automation that says whenever a qualified lead or whenever a lead is qualified, create an item in the contacts board and then do a two-way connection using a connect board column. So that is an automation that you can set up here. And once you've set it up, then you will have your qualified lead in your leads board, in your contacts board. And then moving forward, you can then connect your contact to a deal and then have the information mirrored over from the contact board to the deal board. But the biggest advantage to using this method is if you have a qualified lead still in the leads board, you don't lose the history. So you can technically migrate the data from the lead to the contacts board. But once you've turned that into a contact, then you're maybe missing out on some of the dashboard reporting because you want to have a discretely different lead in a discretely different contact to measure how many leads, say, you got in the month of January in 2025 versus how many contacts you had and how long did it take to convert. So these are the three options to consider, and I'm going to show you real quick how to set up option number. Let's see what those three examples look like in the Monday CRM. So the first one was moving the lead to the contacts board. We can do that using the Move Contacts button here. So if you click the three dots, Settings, Customize Button column, generally the automation information will pop up here, but since it keeps spinning, we can go to Automation Center, go to the button automation, when create a contact clicked, so it's the button, then move item, and we'll then get to choose all the information that is going to go into that. So this is just kind of matching up the columns. So on the left here are the columns in the contacts board, and the right are the columns in your leads board. So we're going to have everything go to the active contacts group. And then we're going to have name be name, email, phone, title. We don't have a type in it in the leads board, so we're going to leave that blank, but you could search for something that might line up, or you could just put a placeholder in for every single thing that gets moved over. For this situation, we don't need that. Then you have priority, comments is comments, done, update automation. So now we're going to click the button because this is a qualified lead. So move to contacts. It says down here that an automation has taken place. Go to the contacts board, boom, just added. So the next thing we could do is we could manually do this. We could have it sent to the leads board manually. So this qualified lead, if you go ahead and you click the three buttons, move to board, and I rename these with tutorial because sometimes it's hard to figure out, as you can see here from this list, when you have a lot of boards and a lot of workspaces. So you could click contacts tutorial, or you could click the check mark box here, move to board, contacts tutorial, active contacts. So then you're going to have to do the matching of the board columns again. So more details. So this right here on the left is the leads tutorial columns, and the right is the contacts tutorial. You're not going to have to keep doing this if you do this method. So you just have to do it the one time. So more details, add as a new column, as a new column. And then the button, we don't want to add the company as a new column, title as a new column, email, email text add as a new column, phone, location, we're going to want to add that. We're going to want to add this as well. We're going to want to add this. Comments, choose a column for last interaction, and then create a date. I'm going to add that too. Move item. We're going to delete this one's going to get deleted. No problem. All right, so that has been moved over to the contacts board, as you can see here. And then if we go back to the leads board, we can do that with deals was the second option. So we're going to get another qualified lead. It's going to go up to the qualified leads group. We're going to click the three dots, move to board. We're going to go to deals tutorial, active deals. So now, same idea. We have to match up all the column types. This is where it's a little bit trickier, right? So you don't necessarily need all the information in the deals board if you're going to have it go into deals. And this is where you might want to consider having an automation that sets up whenever a qualified deal happens, add a lead to the deals board or an item to the deals board with lead information, and add a contact to the contacts board. So keeping that in mind, let's do the third option just so I can show you kind of what that looks like. So let's go to the automation center, click on automate, and then we're going to, when status changes to something, so the status of the leads, when it changes to qualified, then we're going to want to create, type in create item in a board and connect boards. So we're going to have it go to the leads board for this example for option number 3 that we were talking about before. And the item matched up everything that we did earlier. And we're going to have it go to, just to make sure we're going to the right board here. We want this to go to the contacts board. I misspoke there. Sorry about that. So contacts tutorial. And then we're going to match up the columns again. So email is going to be email. Let's see here. We'll go with email there. We're going to go with phone. We're going to go with title. Alphabetical order. So it makes it a little bit easier. Type, we don't have priority. We don't have comments. Is going to be comments. More details. Owner, company, title, email, location, zip code, address, last interaction, and create a date, and then done. And just as a note for the created date, it might be best to say lead created date. So then you can have a contacts created date as well. And then add connect boards with column. So if you click here, this is going to create the connection between the two boards. If you just have it set up for one or the other, then you're only going to see the information in one or the other. I like to do both just so you can mirror data from one or the other to one or the other. So I click both for that. And then I add a new column. So now you have a connect board column that shows up. Create automation. Oh, you gotta click on that, then create automation. So exit out of here. So now when I click qualified, let's do one that has a little bit more info in it to make it more interesting. When I hit qualified, it's going to say in the bottom right corner here that a lead or an automation took place. So if we go to the end of this here, you can see that we have now made a connection with the contacts board. And then if we go to the contacts board, we can see the lead has sent all the information over, and then we have a connection to the lead over here. So now we have a two-way connection, and we can mirror data from both if we need to. All right, we're on the home stretch here. Just wanted to show you a few tips and tricks and the actual leads themselves as far as like the interactions between your leads and your sales reps. So if you click on any one of these leads here, you can see the view of all the interactions as far as email interactions go, activities. You can get the full, qualification status. You can get all the column information here on the right, and here you'll show all of your email exchange. So first of all, this is kind of like a Monday board where you can have views here at the top. So you click the plus sign, you can add all of the different kinds of views, not as many, but almost the same amount as in a board. And then if you want to change, the look and feel a little bit, if you click the top three um, buttons at the top, you can edit layout and content. See, now you can move things around. You can change the size, and then click done when you're done editing. And then you can take the titles on and off. I like to have them on personally. And then you can actually move the lead if you want to. You can copy the lead link. So if you need to send the lead to somebody else, and then you can actually manage the subscribers for the lead. So if you need to have someone subscribed on whenever there's updates. A good thing to know is this update section here. So you can actually say like at everyone on this board. So like everybody that's on the board will get a notification for hello. So if you click that, then you can have an ongoing conversation about a lead and some updates of the lead. And then you can actually put some files here too from, say, your computer, Google Drive. You can also pin this as your favorite view here if you wanted to. But more importantly, how do you get the emails to integrate? So you could do one of two ways. You could click integrate here. You could click on the little gear there and it'll pop this open. Then you do add account. Then you could click on Gmail, Outlook, Google Calendar, Outlook Calendar, whichever you're using. I've been using Gmail, so I've been connecting that. And then once you do that, you can start setting up all these automations with Gmail, which are really great, like reminders or status changes. We'll send emails to customers if you want to set those up. So let's go back into the lead. And once you have those accounts added for Google, you can click on the three dots here and you can change your sharing options. So right now I view only for this one. You can make read and write, meaning anybody that has access to Monday CRM can read and write as if they're you. You can remove it. And then everyone else here, you can do view only, read and write, cannot view. So this is for the individual, and then this is for the entire account. And then if you want to, you can set up automatic contact creation whenever you have a new email. So create a contact when you send an email to someone new. I don't have it set up, but it will add a new contact in your contacts board whenever you send an email to a new contact. So another thing, if you scroll down here, make sure you automatically log all outgoing emails. You can change to only logging outgoing emails from their BCC to the address below. You can set up the automations I just showed you. You can put a email signature, and then you can toggle on when composing a new email for the email signature when replying to an email. If you edit it, you can add HTML to the signature. And then you want to take off the Monday.com branding. So whenever an email gets sent out. And then you can also say like you have some other personal email addresses you don't want logged. You can put that here to the never log. So then if we go back here, if I exchange some emails, so if I say new email here and I exchange with name at company, and then I sent the email, then if you see here, it'll see email tracking. You can actually add column information. So if I wanted to put item name here, I can do that. I can put board name here. So you don't have to remember all the information in Monday columns. You can just have it automatically populated there. And then you can also set up some templates as well if you wanted to. And this will allow you to switch which email account you're sending the emails from. All right, so that's kind of like the basic of this view. Like I said before with updates, if you wanted to have activities here, you could show a note. And if you put the note here, you could add it. pin it to the top, and then you can set yourself a reminder. So you can set a reminder, like 20 minutes out, an hour out, tomorrow, next week. You can copy the activity, send it to somebody that needs to see it. And then you can just go through your leads here by clicking the arrow. And then you can see the email communications that you've been having with people, and you can filter through those emails and activities here. So that about sums it up for your leads. All right, so that basically covers everything for your general setup for lead boards in Monday CRM and the general journey of where a lead should go. For more information and additional tutorials, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more videos with a little bit more advanced functionality on Monday and sprinkling in different types of, sales process information, project management process information, and things of that sort. So anything else you'd like to know or learn more from, feel free to also go to the links below and check out my website. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.